Have you heard of Kinesio taping for Bell's palsy? Well, recently one of our subscribers reached out to us asking the same question. Can you tell us more about Kinesio taping in different stages of Bell's palsy? That's the reason we thought, let's make this video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what is Kinesio taping, when it should be used in Bell's palsy or synkinesis, how does it work, and what are the right do's and don'ts that you should keep in mind while doing a facial taping or else Kinesio taping on the face. Let's get started. Friends, Kinesio tapes are nothing but elastic tapes, something like this, that when used on the face helps in achieving some important benefits like mobility, facilitation of the facial muscles and stretch. Kinesio taping is not just used on the facial muscles, it is used in multiple condition or disorders related to your muscles. In Bell's palsy, depending on the stage, the purpose of Kinesio taping is also determined. For example, in the early stage of Bell's palsy, the purpose of Kinesio taping is to give adequate support and facilitation of the facial movements. Whereas in the subacute and the late stages of Bell's palsy, the idea is to keep the muscles relaxed, which are likely to get tensed or tight throughout the day. As I mentioned, the direction, the patterns, where to apply the Kinesio tape, this is something which is dependent and different from individual to individual. That's why there is no one size fit all approach where one kind of video you can just follow to gain movements on the face in different stages of Bell's palsy. And that's the reason in this video I'm not going to show you how to tape your face. In fact, I'm going to tell you when to apply tape, where not to use the facial tape, and what are the precautions that you should keep in mind while using this tape. So friends, in Kinesio taping, the Kinesio tape is applied on the affected side of the Bell's palsy. Here, the purpose is to give support to your facial muscles, especially the muscles that are got paralyzed. For example, frontalis, orbicularis oculi, zygomaticus major, minor, nasolabialis equali, nasi, platysma, depressor anguli oris, buccinator, rhizoris, orbicularis oris, etc. Depending on when the tension is given and where the stretch is given on the tape, you can get the result. In early phase of Bell's palsy, the positioning of the Kinesio tape is done in a way where the tape is stretched slightly from the center, but the ends are kept as intact as possible. At the same time, the skin is also not stretched so that we can achieve the movement in the center direction. Here, the alignment is done from origin to insertion because the movements that the face have in Kinesio taping is different from the other body area. There are some important rules of thumbs that should be kept in mind while doing Kinesio taping on the face. Number one is skin preparation. When doing Kinesio taping on the face, the skin should be clean, dry, oil-free and dust-free. If there are hair present, hair should be definitely trimmed out. While application, try to avoid touching the glue area as much as possible. And after the application, rub the skin to generate some heat and activate the adhesive in this region. Always remove Kinesio tape if there is more perspiration, itching or some other skin challenges are being faced. For removal, again, it has to be gentle and slow. It should not be pulled in the straight or else abrupt manner. When it specifically comes to Bell's palsy, the idea is to give facilitation and support to the paralyzed muscles. At the same time, provide some sensory input to these muscles. When it comes to application, the tape should always be applied from origin to insertion, which means the starting point of the muscle to the end point of the muscle. That's why you need a professional help to understand which is the starting and which is the end point of the muscle so that you can get the right benefit. The tension on the tape should be moderate, that is between 10 to 15 to 25% max. And this tension should be on the muscle belly and not at the ends of the muscle, which means the origin or insertion points. When it comes to the type of taping, a Y-cut or else a simple linear pattern is used. When it comes to exercises, it's ideal to remove your tape and then do facial exercises rather than doing facial exercises with tape on. And last but not the least, the Kinesio taping should complement your rehabilitation or physiotherapy process, should not become the only source of therapy, because that way it will not work. The moral of the story is, in Kinesio taping, The technique is far more important than the regular facial taping that you might do for a beauty purpose. When it comes to later stages of Bell's palsy, which is chronic Bell's palsy like subacute stage or synkinetic stage, not all facial muscles needs to be taped. Only the muscles that we need to activate, that's where the taping has to be done. Stretched on the tensed muscle, if the taping is done in the wrong way, it can actually worsen the problem. That's why it is very important to work with a therapist who understands the mechanism of kinesio taping, makes a clinical decision on the directions, and then only give this kinesio tape. That's why I will not talk much about the later stages, which is subacute and chronic stage of Bell's palsy, in which how kinesio taping should be done, because that might not be the right information to be shared of, as it can mislead a lot of people. So overall, kinesio taping is great when it comes to Bell's palsy or synkinesis. Technique is far more critical in Bell's palsy and synkinesis case compared to the regular taping that we see on day-to-day basis for beauty purpose. I hope this video was informative for you. If you want further information and further help related to your Bell's palsy and synkinesis, feel free to reach out to us so that we can help you better. On that note, I'll end this video here and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.